What's up, everybody? I'm Justin Hughes, and we are here with our daily forecast. As always, thanks to our sponsors, C3, Merlin Law, and American Group. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into the weather headlines. We have a lot going on with Storm System Frank moving onto the coast. Today is going to be another conditional risk. So if you watched yesterday, Andrea kind of went over the how the cap and stuff was going to hold stuff back yesterday, and it did. And so today we're kind of looking at another risk. Where if the cap does break, we could see storms. We'll kind of dive into that here in a second. So, and then Storm System Frank, like I just said, we're going to have multiple risks of severe weather. It will go up each day as the storm system kind of gets closer to, the Central Plains. We'll see if Storm System Frank will actually some severe weather for us, and the risk continues eastward Saturday. So let's go ahead and dive right into the upcoming events. We only have one. This is kind of our slower time of year. So we have the C3 lunch. It's actually going to be right here at our office on the 3rd floor. So come out. It's free. This is going to be geared towards more like commercial roofers. C3 does a lot of great stuff in the public adjuster industry. So come out, see them. I believe it is you can't see it. It's May 10th, so come out to our office, see them. You can actually register in the link on this video. So let's go ahead and dive right into the current conditions. Relatively quiet for the most part. We do have some rain that is pushing off of the East Coast. That's kind of from that trough that moved through the Central Plains yesterday and the day before. So relatively quiet right now. Temperature-wise, we got, it's still pretty chilly up in the northern plains, pretty typical. 81 down in Dallas, where the warm sector is, 81 down in Miami, 66 in Denver. Pretty typical April temperature, so nothing really to see there yet. So this is our current dew point. So you can see the warm sector right here, the dry lines basically right back in here, the warm front stretching through south central Kansas. So we got all that rich moisture being pulled up ahead of the actual low, which is, I think the low is down here somewhere. So you can actually see that. So anywhere that you see these greens is going to be fuel for any thunderstorm development that happens later in the day. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. Mid 60s in April is what you want to see. So we're going to go ahead and jump ahead and look at forecast CAPE. So this is the amount of energy in the atmosphere that is available for storms. So the brighter the color, the more energy that we have in the atmosphere to work with. So this goes all the way till 12 p.m. tomorrow. And so as we move that forward, we're going to look at the future radar. And so as you can see, this is one model run. So we have two different models that we like to look at on days like today. So this is a model run that actually has the cap breaking in southwest Kansas and northwest Oklahoma. I will tell you that the other model run that we have basically has one storm that basically fires around Dodge City and fizzles out in about an hour or two. So keep that in mind. This is a very conditional risk, and this is only one model solution. So I wouldn't bank on this, but anything that does fire today, the conditions are pretty favorable for large hail and maybe a tornado or two. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So and then we're going to jump up and look through the rest of the evening. It kind of fizzles out as we go through the overnight hours, if those storms actually fire. And then you can see by 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, most of this is not even going to be rain. So we're going to go ahead and look at up here. There's two risk areas that I'll go over that here in a second. But another one will be basically along the Kansas and Nebraska line. As you can see, there's a few different supercells that tried to form and move up towards I-80, moving out of northern Kansas. So two different risk areas today. We'll kind of have to see how it plays out. This is actually another model run. This is the HRRR. That is the model run that is not firing anything down to the south. So we have a few areas to keep an eye on today and a few model runs to see how they kind of play out as we go through the afternoon and evening hours. Play this through the morning. As you can see, the storms kind of move up towards Omaha. Most of this, I would imagine, by this point in time, will probably be subsevere. Just some rain and stuff for the Iowa area. Some typical thunderstorms for this time of year. So today's forecast max hail size, we're going to go with tennis balls. So if we do get the cap to break, we can see up to tennis ball size hail. It wouldn't surprise me if the cap broke and we did get a couple of dominant supercells that we might even see a little bit larger than tennis ball. But again, it's really a conditional risk, and we're going to have to see how it plays out as we head into the afternoon. So we're going to go ahead and look at today's hail forecast. So as I mentioned, the area that we're going to really want to watch is basically the Oklahoma-Kansas line up towards Dodge City. That's kind of like our focal point. And then a little bit further north along, the Kansas-Nebraska line, as we saw those storms earlier as they lifted north. So we're going to zoom right in here. So the cities that we have highlighted are Woodward, Great Bend, obviously Dodge City is in here somewhere, and then over in the Wichita area. If storms do develop, those are the cities that have the best chance at seeing that tennis ball size hail. So we're going to keep them in the moderate category, just to see if we can actually get those storms to fire. As we head up further to the north, Kansas City has a lower chance of seeing storms. And then as we head a little bit further north, again with the storms that kind of fire and move up from the north into Kansas, from Kansas into Nebraska and Iowa, we're going to give Omaha, Des Moines, and Kansas City all on the low end risk of seeing severe hail. But the risk is there, so we'll just have to kind of see how this plays out. Setups like today are really, really difficult, and they're really, really hard to forecast. You can go out and you can be expecting to see storms, and it will be sunny all day. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. Today is a very complicated setup, so I'm sure if anything does happen, we will be monitoring it, and we will obviously go live if something does happen in any large city. So let's go ahead and look at today's wind forecast. It's basically going to be the same area. If we do get some of those winds, they'll be on the 58 to 73 mile an hour range, which is severe. So, but that is again if we get those storms to fire. It's going to be basically the same cities as the hail risk. So Wichita, Great Bend, Salina, Dodge City, down to Woodward. Maybe stretching as far east as Topeka. Probably not stretching it all the way to Kansas City. So. Let's go ahead and, if I get this to work, look at the future radar. So this is going to bring us into tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be a little bit more, tomorrow is not going to be a conditional risk like it is today. We are expecting the cap to actually break tomorrow. And so as you can see, there are plenty of storms showing up on radar. And then as the evening moves on, they move off to the south and east, and then behind it, you can even see another line of storms that actually is developing in the early morning hours. You can see that's 2 a.m. Central. So a couple of waves of severe weather possible tomorrow night on the high plains. And then as we move that forward into Saturday morning, you can see it kind of dies out as it heads into southern Kansas and western Oklahoma. That's at 7 a.m. Saturday morning. So, and then we're going to move up to the north. And so this is the same tomorrow, same time frame as what we just looked at down south. You can see that this particular model has a pretty good cell going through Rapid City. Again, these are just models. You can't bank on any of that. But the risk tomorrow will basically extend from Rapid City all the way down to Amarillo. And we're just going to push this forward. You can see that line that I was talking about kind of moves off to the east. And then as it moves on to the east in the overnight hours, and we get back into Saturday morning, it basically dies out, and then we got a bunch of snow on the back side of it. So let's go ahead and look at tomorrow's hail forecast. So tomorrow's hail forecast is going to be a lot larger. So all the way, like I said, all the way from down to Amarillo, and then all the way up into South Dakota, the Rapid City area, like I just mentioned. So hail size about with these storms, we're going to go with tennis ball size hail, 2.5 inch. And so for those cities, it's going to be Amarillo, Guymon, Goodland, North Platte, and then as we head up into Rapid City, again, there's that risk there. So a much larger risk tomorrow. It's not as, again, as conditional as what we were dealing with today and yesterday. So tomorrow is definitely looking like it to be a more active day than what it's going to be like today. And so anywhere in those cities, we're going to give them a moderate risk of seeing that large hail. And so be on the lookout for that for any of those places on the high plains. As we head into the wind forecast, basically the same areas we just talked about. The wind if this squalls out, the likelihood of having severe winds is going to increase. So as you can see today, we had all green, the low wind chances. For the wind risk tomorrow, we put them at the moderate, because if it does squall out, that means that the high wind chances are actually going to be a little bit greater, and that will actually reduce the hail risk. So we'll kind of have to see how tomorrow plays out. Dry line days on the high plains are always interesting to say the least. So again, moderate chances for those severe wind gusts all the way up into South Dakota. So, and then let's look at the future jet stream. So we have Storm System Frank, which is actually still off the coast, which is why we're not getting enough lift over here on days like today to actually get something to be confident enough for those storms to fire. But as you can see, as we move it through Friday at 12 p.m., it is starting to dig into the Rockies. So as you can see the warm sector here, all the Gulf moisture getting sucked up into the plains and high plains. And then as we move it a little farther forward into Saturday, you can see it's all the way into the northern plains by then. And so this is going to be the setup for Saturday, which I'll get into here in a second. Saturday will be a risk basically from border to border. So, and that is all because Storm System Frank is finally kicking out of the Rockies and heading east. So, and then we can move it forward a little further, all the way to Sunday at 6 p.m. You can see it's basically over Minnesota at that point. And so, the look ahead forecast, like I said, on Saturday, the risk will basically be from northern Minnesota all the way down to, all the way down to into the far southern portions of Texas. So Saturday could end up being, a very active day, just like Friday is going to be. So Storm System Frank could produce, multiple days of severe weather. Friday and Saturday being the ones that we want to potentially watch the most. So for that, we'll see if Storm System Frank actually franks up and actually doesn't really produce any of this. So we're all kind of curious to see how this is going to play out. We are getting to the time of year where there is a drought developing, and that is not something that you want to see this time of year. That's been the talk of the office last couple days. So we really need these storm systems for moisture, on top of hail. But we really need these things to produce some moisture, especially in the high plains before we get into summer. Because that's just going to lead to a hot summer and not very good storm chances. So, as always, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We actually just started doing the TikTok thing, so make sure to follow us on all of these channels. And as always, you can contact us at 855-334-4245, info@hailtrace.com. And then, as always, hailtrace.com is the website that you want to go to. Let us know if you have any questions or concerns. We'll be monitoring the situation as Storm System Frank heads this way. So thanks for watching.